Okay, let's start.
Do I have to make okay?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Alors, hello Roland, and thank you for accepting this interview.
You're welcome.
About your story. Donc, your current event is Rise Again, a video lyrics, Masterplan's last album dates back to 2013. Can we expect a new release soon?
Yes. You know, it's a bit a pity in the moment. The whole music business changed, you know, and everything is a bit different feeling, like say 10 years ago. It's like people making now videos and singles only, or text videos. And we released just an end of January the first one, Rise Again, like you mentioned. And I'm working on the second song now. Rick was already singing it. Lyrics are done, music is done. I just need to mix it next week or this week already. And then I'll talk with AFM if it will be a text video or real video. I think it's a really cool song, the second one. It's more progressive metal, more Masterplanish than compared to the first one. But definitely we're working song by song now, and all the songs are written and recorded already. It's just some lyrics missing, and so we work like month per month, and I think end of the year we have a new album.
Okay, the lineup is always the same?
Yeah, the same. Last 10 years we have the same lineup, same drummer. Live sometimes when people are wondering, we have a different drummer because of timing of our drummer Kevin Cott, because he's finishing studying and he's now a professional teacher. That means he can't go on the weekdays, only weekends. And when we have festivals, no problem. But our last tour we had a different drummer. It was Ephraim Larson, and so it's back and forth. We have two drummers in the moment.
Okay. Okay. Donc, so your very first band, with whom you released two albums, was called Rampage. What memories do you have? And why did you leave the band in 1983?
Oh God, that's a long time ago. I was young. Yeah, I mean, it's basically, we were more friends than professional musicians at that time. And we worked before already in different lineup constellations, you know. And I don't even remember all the names, like Prisma, line 4 was after Rampage, Crystal, Sin, we had names, you know. So Rampage was a big hope for us to get something more professional. And at least we had two professional album releases. With Teldec record, I think it's not existing anymore, German label, or maybe international. And so why I left the band, I think on the second album, I was pretty happy with the sound and the release, and but somehow internal in the band was something changing. You know, I'm the kind of guy, I like to have a very democratic kind of feeling. I don't like having, I mean, some bands need it. They needed a band leader who has a concept, or he knows everything better than the others. But at that time, I felt we were all equal. And then I realized this, you know, my ego said, no, that's not right for me. Even we're friends. I left the band on the end of the recording, or before the album was released, I left the band, but they recorded still one song after me. And this was with Henjo Richter, who later, or many years later, he joined Gamma Ray. So that was funny.
This was my apparently Henjo Richter joined Rampage in 1983. Did you play together in the band, or did he replace you?
I think Henjo joined the band as a guitar player, but I was also singer in the band, one of the three. So they needed an extra singer to replace me. So that was like two guys replacing Roland Grapow, and was a bit funny. But they made some shows and still existed, I think, 1.5 years. But then the band broke up, and a very sad situation was that two guys died very shortly after. You know, the bass player and the main I called him leader, Jörg Schädlich, and he was a very good friend of mine. And the other guitar player died. He was sick, stomach, kind of from I don't know the English word for, but it's very sad. That I think they died in around 6 months, difference. It was a really sad time. But I was already 2 years out of the band.
Okay. Between your departure from Rampage and your arrival in Helloween, 6 years passed. What did you do during that time? Did you continue to play guitar?
Yeah, of course. I always played guitar. I mean, I was learning at home my favorite scales from at that time. I think Steve Lukather was my biggest influence. I mean, when I was younger, before Rampage, was my favorite Germans, Uli John Ross and Michael Schenker. But later, I was really into total music and not so much metal. And in Rampage, we were into metal like Saxon and Judas Priest. But also, we all loved Journey, Styx, Foreigner, Toto, progressive music like Saga and other bands. I'm pretty sure I forgot many now. And so I was really into Steve Lukather, and I learned all the scales. And he was one of the first guys who released a video about guitar playing. He and Brian May. And I had it, and I was learning it at home. And then at that time, the computer period started. Commodore came out, home recording started. So I was writing easy songs at home. Some parts were different, not really metal, but then I was always continuing and learning until the phone call came from Michael Weikers. And between this time, I also had 2 bands, like a kind of Toto style with keyboard, me on guitar, and again 2-3 singers. We had always big harmony singing. We always loved it somehow.
Okay, so it would be Michael Weikert who called you to join Helloween. Your perception of heavy metal was then limited to Judas Priest or Saxon. How did you adapt to their repertoire?
There was a kind of tricky situation. I think Weike invited me to his home, and he played me just. I think he was scared that I don't like the style. Because I was not used to it, I never heard something like Helloween before, and I never heard Helloween. And he played me just I Want Out, Future World, Dr. Steen, and The Tale That Wasn't Right, and maybe Keeper of the Seven Keys, something like that. And so he said, "What do you think? Do you like it?" And I said, "Yeah, I think the songs are great." And I think the most or the biggest point for me was the singer. I mean, Michael Kiske was like something I really liked. I mean, I knew already Queensryche and Judas Priest, and I thought this singer or Iron Maiden, And I thought Michael Kiske was very unique and especially very professional sounding, not like an amateur for me, And I said I liked him very much, and I'm looking forward to join the band. But then later I heard the rest of the songs, all the Words of Jericho, or the more heavy stuff, or more brutal stuff. But I was getting used to it, and we played them live. And after a while, I really liked it, and then I was, part of the Helloween guys. Very natural. So it's just not that I didn't like it from the beginning. I just didn't know it. I even I was the oldest guy in the band. I was getting used to it and learning the new style. I called it new style for me. This staccato, this kind of weird harmonies is a bit different than normal harmonies, in other bands, But I really loved the band,
Okay. I had read that at the beginning, you had a bad relationship with Ingo Schwistenberg, the drummer. Did it last long?
What do you say? Bad relationship?
Bad relationship.
Oh, it was not bad. It was just stiff, because Ingo and Kai Hansen were the best friends, and yes. I think the next guy in this clan was Marcus. But Marcus is a very open-minded guy and very friendly and very happy always. So with Marcus, I always had a really great feeling. I had maybe next to Waiki, Marcus was a very important part, private. You know, his girlfriend and my ex-wife, which was girlfriend at that time, we met each other. We had dinner together. We had many funny stories and stuff. You know, and then with Ingo took a longer time. You know, he needed to see how I develop. You know, I just came in the band, and very quick we went on tour. And still on tour, he gave me instructions how I should play, and I thought, what the hell, you know? And so it was a bit stiff, but all in all, when you heard the first songs I was writing, I'd say The Chance, Mankind, he fell in love with my guitar writing or style and songwriting. And so then we were not the best friends, but we were accepted each other. And so, yeah, I think he was one of the, or maybe the best drummer I ever worked with. But it doesn't mean you have to be the best friends to be in a band and to be creative, you know? You can be in a company and you have many colleagues, you don't even like them, but you can make great work, you know? So like I said, it was, I think Ingo was just different, you know? He was more into, I mean, it was a bit, besides the age difference, I don't know how much it was, maybe 6 years or something. And when you're 29 and 30 and somebody's 24, it's a big difference, you know? And Mikey Kiske was 9 years younger than me. So it's like he was 21, so like a kid. And you don't have the same talking or experience. Especially I was having a normal life. I was working for 12 years as a car mechanic, you know, and these guys were just rock stars from the beginning, you know. And that's I think was the biggest difference. So otherwise, like I said, I'm more a family guy. I went home, and these guys went to party in Hamburg, and the worst part was they Ingo took drugs. Everybody knows that, and I never did this. I like just beer, and that's it, you know. And I never took any cocaine or heroin or some shit. I don't want that, you know.
Yeah, okay. Helloween's first album with you, Pink Bubbles Go Ape, was released in 1991. Its name, as well as the dust jacket, are rather strange. Can you explain this choice?
I didn't get the ending. What was? I didn't
its name, the name Pink Bubbles Go Ape, and the cover, the jacket, are strange.
Oh, it's definitely a very creative process, you know. It was weird. I came to the band, everything was changing, you know. I loved the Keeper 1 and Keeper 2 albums so much, and then they had a new producer. For me, it was the first producer. I didn't even know the difference. And Chris Sangarides, and then we recorded the album, and then Mikey Kiske was thinking about maybe changing the style, or his taste was changing. Also, Michael Weickers was very more open for different styles. Like I said, what's going on? Why you not continue with a strong, powerful concept you had? You know, like Keeper 1 and 2 was for me the most brilliant albums. And then they started with like, especially Michael Kiske's idea was, what about the strange album titles? Something very creative. And he came with this Pink Bubbles Go Ape idea, and my English at that time was so bad I could not even understand what he was talking, you know. Till 3-4 years I was in the band, then I could speak English, you know. At that time I was smiling all the time and just, yeah, okay, I'm the new guy, I should not say anything bad about ideas, you know. And so Mikey Kiske and Michael Weickers were the biggest how you say in English, masterminds behind the creative part, you know. They decided more or less with the management we had at that time is the same like Iron Maiden, and it's Rod Smallwood, and at that time they called Sanctuary, and they decided the album cover should be made by Storm Thorgenden, this really famous guy from Hypnosis, I guess is the company, and he worked for many of my favorite, you know, albums like Pink Floyd or UFO. So he has a really creative, crazy style, And the only thing I remember what I was saying at the meeting with him was, I think it was in Denmark in the studio when we recorded. He came with his rough paintings, and I said to him, is it not a bit too much sexistish with this girl with a fish, you know? And he was really, really not happy about my comment. So after that, I stopped talking. So that's together. So I was just thinking, okay, I'm the new guy, and I get used to it. And I mean, I like the album cover. It's just different. It's not really heavy metal. It's not typical, and not what Helloween was before. It's different. You know, it's a new start. But I was not really involved in this concept.
Okay. My favorite tracks on this album is Someone's Crying, but it was only been played live very rarely. Why this choice?
I don't know. This song is definitely one inspirational song from Rampage still, and for me, I think when I wrote very new songs like The Dance was absolutely new, and Mankind. Back for My Life, my fourth song was a bit influenced by Rampage and Someone's Crying as well. I don't remember where I have it from, but we played it a couple of times live, but then it went out and we never played it again. You know, I don't know what. I think it's one of the strongest songs on the album.
Yes.
At least more metal than others.
Ingo's drumming on this song is amazing. Very nervous, it seems. Do you remember his recording session?
On which song?
On Someone's Crying.
Oh, Someone's Crying. No, I don't remember each detail anymore, but I have many tapes, or also other band members. I remember we were filming a lot, you know. So we have, I think I have 11 hours just from the recording of the album. I still haven't never released it, so but I watched it 2 years ago, first time after so many years, and there was a really detailed process. You know, we recorded drums like with 3 guys with headphones on and to get playing really together. Nowadays, everybody's just playing to demo tape, you know, the drums with the tape, no other musicians, and then the next guy. But it was really teamwork in a way, like more the old school, and I really liked it. And when we finished recording in the evening, we made sometimes sessions like playing drums, and Ingo, me, and Marcus, basically, mostly we 3 guys. Sometimes Mikey Kiske was singing some funny stuff, you know. And but it was a nice, very detailed, long process. Yeah.
Okay. In 1993, Helloween released The Chameleon, one of my favorite albums of the band, which many people don't like. What do you think of it 30 years later?
I think you know, it's when you're a musician and you're in a band and everybody is creative and deciding together what we do. I think there's no mistake. You know, this album is just special. And again, when we started Pink Bubbles, it was already a big step forward in a different direction, not in a better direction. I don't want to say that. But then you know, that same 2 guys were talking about how to change the style and to get bigger, like Queen or Beatles or something like that, you know. Then I realized, okay, maybe I should join these 2 guys. And you know, I told you before, I came more from the band like Toto as a AOR, not really too much AOR, but this kind of American style bands. And when you hear my songs, I mean, Crazy Cat or something is like a boogie, which was a bit influenced by Extreme, the band Extreme. And music is again one song which was already in Rampage, but I always loved it. And of course, it's more like a bluesy song. And so at that time, I think we were the most creative guys. We did everything we just wanted, you know, without compromise. And that's what people can hear. I think it's a good album, but I think the metal fans from that time needed to grow on it. And many people like it now much better. So how long is that? 30 years ago? And they're saying, now I like it, but I'm older as well, you know. I mean, come on, we did really good musicianship there. We played well, we had a good songwriting, but it's not heavy metal. So it's a solo album of maybe Helloween members, you know.
Okay. On this album, we find a Step Out of Hell, in which you said you wanted to help Ingo Schwistenberg. Do you think he understood the meaning of your words? And how did you react to his suicide 2 years later?
Yeah, I was writing for him, but I didn't say it to him like this song is about you. You know, it's not like that. But in interviews later, I said it, or maybe to Michael Kiske. Yeah, there was already a drastic, very, very sad situation. So in the studio, the recording of the drums, we felt already he's pretty weak or unstable, and we needed longer time. We needed more talking. We needed a bit more breaks between songs, and so we hoped. And I just wanted to give him some hope with this kind of lyrics and with this song and helping other people. I mean, like I said, I never took drugs in a way, just heavy drugs. And I just tried to help people. I'm always like kind of a positive guy, you know. I think Helloween was also never negative in any way, you know. There was always something straightforward, go ahead, or especially also Masterplan, you know. All the lyrics are, there's always some point on the end of the story which gives you hope, you know, and that's it. I think you can't plan it. It's just your personality. I'm not the kind of guy who wants to write black metal lyrics, you know.
Okay. For the Chameleon tour, you had Richie Abdelnaby on drums. I listened to a few bootlegs with him, and I feel like his drum playing didn't fit with Helloween. Do you think it was a good choice?
Richie is a fantastic guy. You know, he's totally different than Ingo was. And when we were touring, I was hanging out with him mostly because I felt like he's a new guy. I need to help him a bit, supporting him, you know. But I think he was a very good friend of Waiki. That's why he came to the band. He thought he's so cool. He likes him. You know, Waiki is always a bit weird in his decisions. It's not about who's the best drummer or who's the best musician. He takes the guys he likes the most, you know, which fits to him and to the band. That's what is not weird. It's maybe a good decision as well. And but I think with Richie never played double bass before. You know, when he came to Helloween, he needed to learn it. And of course, you can't learn in 1 year this powerful drumming of Ingo Schwistenberg. You know, this was the biggest difference. And of course, that's what you could hear live, especially. We had some bonus tracks recorded with him, which was fine in the studio. But live, yeah, I think, especially when Andy Darius came to the band, he said, hey, that doesn't work. Guys, let's get a different drummer. That's the decision. He made it, like changing Richie.
Okay. Master of the Rings marked the arrivals of Andy Darius and Uli Kush. Michael Weikert spoke a lot about this at the time. But on your side, what was your positioning on these lineup changes?
My position?
Yes.
Oh, wait. Like I said, we had really, really sad moments. Making Pink Bubbles, Chameleon, everything was getting confused. We had still a big fan base, you know, and we played live. The Chameleon tour, everything, like 50% of the songs were acoustic songs. And I felt this is not right, you know, and especially when we came to Japan and I saw fans in front of me crying, you know, this is not the band I paid a ticket for, and I wanted to see, you know, the great songs from them. And after that, we had this new lineup, and everything went just so positive, you know. And it was such a good chemistry and big hope again. Everything was very positive. The songwriting, it was just easy without any big discussions, you know. It was just let's do it. And we had a lot of fun. 2 new members in the band, which of course you needed to learn a bit how to communicate, how to get bigger friendship. You know, you can't make it from one day to the other. But it was very easy and very, very quick, to be honest, you know. And when the album came out, we saw the result, you know. The record label was happy, the fans were happy, and we were happy, you know. But we had an equal situation, so there was not a leader or something. It was everybody was like a really nice, beautiful, democratic feeling.
Is it true that you wrote Mr. Ego with Michael Kiske in mind?
Yeah, that's you know, I write always personal lyrics. I just realized in Helloween, every song, especially Mr. Ego, Escalation 666, The Dark Ride, they're all about the band, you know. I didn't hate Mikey Kiske or something. It's just I felt a bit unhappy that the management and the business people around the band treated him better than us, you know. But as a singer and as a friend, he was still my friend and everything. Nothing changed. So I was not blaming him for it. It was just a story about him, you know. And Mr. Ego is nothing. I mean, everybody has an ego once in a while, but this was like some stories about equipment and some, you know, he said something and he got it, and when we or Waiki was asking for something, we didn't get it. You know, it's like, what's going on? It's like a bit childish, you know, to make a lyrics about it, but sometimes it's good to have like a story, you know. He gave me just a story. It's nothing big, nothing drastic. There was no hate or something, and we're still friends. When I meet him, which is a long time now, already some years, but we hugging each other, we talked, and nothing, no problem.
Okay. Among the bonus tracks of this album, we find Closer to Home, a cover of Grand Funk Railroad, with you on vocals. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, I mean, we had a really, really good relationship, and everybody was like, "Oh, can we do that on the bonus tracks?" We always did something special, like a cover song, or I remember, I don't know which album it was, but then we have Sin Lizzy cover, then we had Judas Priest cover. Then I thought, maybe, you know, can I do a Grand Funk cover, and can I sing like really like a little kid, you know? And Andy Darius said, "Yeah, if you can, why not? You know, the bonus track is not on the album." And then, of course, there was a very late session. Like I think I started playing guitar at 6 in the evening, and it was the last day in the studio. And then I said, "Yeah, but when should I sing it?" And then I started singing at 11 o'clock till 3 in the morning. And the engineer was always sleeping in front of me. He's always like, normally, you know, you can't work so late. And but we needed to finish it. And yeah, I think it was not my best performance, but I was happy we did it. And many Grand Funk fans, which are of course much older now, you know, they are all around 60, 70, something like that. They love the version. You know, they think it's one of the best covers they ever heard from Closer to Home, I'm Your Captain.
On the next 2 albums, The Time of the Oss and Better Than Raw, the only one of your composition that was retained was The Time of the Off. How do you explain it? And was it the reason that pushed you to go for solo albums?
That's weird. Yeah, I thought, how you call it? I was always a defense writer. You know, I always thought, let's see what the other guys have. I mean, there was always a strong part from Waiki, which was the power metal, Halloweenish, very, very Halloweenish sounding, happy, typical style of his writing. I can't even explain it. Then there was this Andy Darius, more pink creamish, trying to be more Halloween, which was the other side. And I thought I make more the progressive parts, sometimes Halloween parts, you know, but not so much later, because then Uli Kusch came also as a songwriter. And he was a absolutely brilliant inspiration. He never finished, I think, songs alone. It was always the help of the band or the producer. But his songs were really powerful, power metal, which had a very unique style from his drumming and songwriting and so on. But when I wrote just one song, which was of course a pretty long one, Time of the O's, it was even the title track. I was really happy about it, you know. So you see, it's a very important part. And it doesn't matter how many songs you have, if the album was very, very successful. And we went from this platform to here, you know, and the money came back to Helloween, and the gold albums came. I mean, Master of the Rings was already gold, but this was even better, you know, and sales in Japan and I don't know, Korea, whatever. And but then a little bit frustration came into my camp. Again, this kind of democratic part went away a bit. It was everything was a bit led by the management, and they always pushed Andy and Waiki, and the rest of the band was not important for them. You know, they were just a rhythm section, and I didn't like it, and that's why I maybe pushed myself to make a solo album, and took a bit. I mean, to be honest, none of my songs from the solo album really fits to Helloween. I try to be more into this Yngwie neoclassical style. Of course, they said sometimes, yeah, but they could also fit to Helloween. But I said, I think no, I didn't. They were not written for Helloween. You know, they're different. It's more neoclassical style, which I was very influenced at that time. Not anymore, but at that time. I think then